Hello everyone, welcome back to this live stream, and we have such a treat for you today. I have the awesome Debbie with me, and we're going to go through Nux.js, and I know nothing about it. I think it's got something to do with Vue or something like that. We're going to hear so much more about it. So have your questions ready, and we're going to build a quick start, small application. I've got some ideas in mind, and you can let us know what ideas you have, and we can try those out too. So Debbie, I've done a terrible introduction for yourself, so please introduce yourself. Tell us how you got to where you are, how can't even start, not a great start today. How you got to where you are today. Please go ahead.
So, hey everyone, yeah, I'm Debbie O'Brien and I work at NuxtJS, which is very, very cool. I'm not going to go into how I got here because it's going to take like 10 hours, right? It's a very, very long story, but basically, let me just do a very short version. Doing a lot of open source has really helped. Speaking at conferences about Nux has really helped. And that's basically how you get into where I am now in working with Nux. So if you are out there and you want to be where I am today, start working with open source and start speaking at conferences and just doing, lots of cool stuff. And then you'll be here.
Open source. I need to reiterate that like 100 times. We've got Hacktoberfest coming up in like 2 days. I think it's really important for people to get into open source to really accelerate their career. And also, everyone, remember, open source is not just for Hacktoberfest. Continue it after Hacktoberfest. Because I was going to say Hacktoberfest isn't just for October, but it is just for October. But continue the open source afterwards. And everyone hears me say this all the time. And I think it's great to hear someone else say that and have the experience that you have to back it up and say how it has helped you as well. So that's awesome. So thank you very much for saying that. That has made my day.
And I started with Webpack, which is like one of the hardest, right? So just start somewhere, find something you like, something you enjoy, something you're passionate about, jump in and help out. I started with fixing typos and improving the documentation. That's how I started. So yeah.
I think that's how a lot of people start.
Nux documentation, so you're more than welcome to help us out with that.
Well, on that note, shall we have a look? So what is Nux.js?
So Nux.js is the intuitive Vue framework, right? So basically, it's like taking Vue. So it is working with Vue, right? You're still writing Vue code. You're still working with Vue, but it's making your life easier. So for example, you don't have to create a router.js file for your routes because it's going to automatically be done for you. And it's not just going to create the routes for you. It's also going to do the code splitting for you, which is great. If you're doing Webpack, you'll know what I mean. So only the code, the like JavaScript that is needed for that page will be loaded. And you don't have to worry about that. So that's kind of one thing it does. It auto imports components for you. Obviously, then with Nux.js, you can work with server-side rendering, with single-page applications, or with static sites. So you can choose to build one in the middle of it, decide, oh no, actually I'm going to build a static site and just change one target and then you've got a static site, right? So you just get so much out of Nux and I love it for so many reasons. And like, because of the words there, it's modular, it's performant, it's enjoyable, it's easy, it's fast. You get so much done quicker. And that's what I love about it. And you're still using Vue. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's great.
It's win-win, right?
Completely.
That's what we like to hear.
It's really interesting because some people ask me, right, can you use Nux if you haven't learned Vue, right? Can you just go straight into Nux as a beginner? And
that was my first question, actually, coming up.
Well, you're going to answer it at the end, right? Because I started learning Vue and then went to Nux. So I can't really, say that from a user perspective, but you can say that because you're coming in completely new, right?
Completely new, not used Nux, not used Vue. Not really used React either, so it's a completely different world. I know. I think one of the founders of Vue was from the Angular team, so I do work with Angular. So maybe I'll see some things that I recognize.
Oh, it'll make your life easier. If coming from Angular, you're just going to go, oh my God, why am I in Angular?
Oh, really? Okay, let's see. I haven't ever said that before about anything. People said that about React and other things. So let's have a look and see. I'm really, really excited. Just to give a shout out to a few people. Awesome to have you all here. I don't think I'm going to be able to name everybody, but I see some of the regulars, Mohammed, Stephen. I've seen some of the regulars as well. If I've missed anyone else, I've really forgotten. I really apologize if I've missed you out. I'll also give a shout out to Stephen, one of my biggest sponsors on GitHub sponsors. So thank you very much, Stephen. Nice. And Stephen, we're waiting for you to start your YouTube channel. You have so much knowledge to share in the whole DevOps space. And he's awesome helper in our community as well. Really supports the community. So it's great to have you all here. Right. So where should we start? Like if I'm new to Nux.js and Vue,
Yeah.
what's the first thing that I should do?
So what I've created is the new guides. So you'll see on the documentation, you've got guides better, right? There are new guides. And this is kind of like being created into books. And the books are meant to then help you with everything. So you can kind of follow all through. And we've gone into like a very basic, like you're a first time user. And the first one here is just like showing you how easy it is to set up Nux. You literally only need a package JSON file and a Vue file. And that, you can have your page up and running. But we're not going to do that because it's very, very basic. And I think like we're going to jump in and go a little bit, a little bit more hardcore. So we're going to use the Create Nux app, which is going to basically give you everything. Sometimes it gives you too much.
I want everything. I want everything.
Especially when you add all the linters and prettiers, and then everyone goes, oh my God, what's happening here, right? So we're not going to go over linters and prettiers. But yeah, if you click on using Create Nux app, which is in the right-hand corner of the table of contents.
Oh yeah, here we go. I have to give you a bit of a warning. Last week, we did have one of the core maintainers from Svelte come on, and everyone loved it. So you got a bit of competition with Nux.js to convert us over. So many people actually started projects in Svelte. It's a really hard thing to pronounce. So, so you got some competition.
I don't think it's a competition. I mean, no, completely. And I think if you like Svelte, why not build something in Svelte? And if you like using Svelte and Vue, use both. And, I came from Angular to then React to then Vue to then Nux, right? So I've kind of like done them all. And there's nothing like, I can't like, some frameworks are better because for, different reasons, right? But I worked in an agency, so I had to make choices depending on the application I was building. And for some, Angular is actually very good, especially if you've got a team of backend Java developers who are going to maintain that. You're using TypeScript all the time. It works better for you. So there are many reasons why one is better at a certain point in time, but I don't actually consider like Svelte to be better than Vue, Vue to be better than Svelte. It's, it's a personal choice in my opinion. So I would quite happily use Svelte as well and create an application. I think it's great. I think what Rich Harris has done is great. It's fun. It's brilliant. So yeah, this is not a competition. It's about trying something new. That's what I would say.
Well answered. And I think, by me saying competition, it sounded, I suppose, a bit harsh and a bit scary. That's not what I meant. It's just kind of how I think the reason why a lot of people like Svelte, it was just so easy to get started and get going rather than kind of scary. And I think from what I've heard about Nux.js and from what you've said in the conversations we've had, it sounds like it's going to be nice and simple to get started. So I'm really excited.
Let's see if we can do it. So,
okay.
I'm going to almost let you kind of follow the docs and go along. So
so this is like testing out your docs then as well, right?
Yeah, because I can then make it better, right?
Okay. Let's go to NPM.
Really, I prefer Yarn. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Interesting. Someone else said that to me recently as well.
Yeah,
I
Yarn
used
works
to
a bit
use
better
Yarn.
with Nux. Yarn works better with Nux for us. We have less errors and stuff.
Okay.
So I haven't used NPM for a long time.
Well, I want to test that out now and let's see. So let's do npm initialize the Nux app, and we're going to call the folder Nux live stream.
I've never run this command, so this command doesn't work. I have never run it. I've only ever run the Yarn one. Okay,
looking good so far.
I
like this.
No, don't do that. We don't want TypeScript. I mean,
what?
no. Like you can do it if you want. No, if you really want to, but I can't help you because I don't know TypeScript. So if you do TypeScript, you are on your own.
Okay, well, TypeScript is fine. I'm happy to be on my own, but if there's any config issues or something like that, I don't know what would need to be configured in Nux, and then we might get stuck on that. So maybe I'll stick JavaScript for now.
I think it's really easy, and it literally, then you just put lang equals ts and you're good to go and stuff. But
okay,
let's not complicate things. Okay. I don't know if anyone else is out there that hasn't used TypeScript either. But yeah, let's stick with JavaScript for now, but you can always add it in later because there's a package and you can just install it. And, if you ever start your application and then say, now I want to use TypeScript, you can always do it later as well. Okay,
awesome. Okay, we'll stick with JavaScript for now, even though everyone knows I love TypeScript. Okay, so can I pick your NPM for this?
If you want to, yes.
Okay, good.
If it doesn't work, it's on you.
What? I thought we were give and take, one each.
So when it comes to frameworks, if anyone knows me, then you will know. Yes, you picked the right option. Yes.
And I've
I
I've got
mean,
a sorry, go on.
yeah, like there's actually like Chakryu is actually really good, and I would love to kind of start playing around with that. That's like, it's coming on a lot. It's really good. There's a lot of good frameworks out there, but Tailwind CSS is very good for getting something done very quickly. And this is what we want to do today. We're not concentrating on styles. We don't want to like throw in components and get things built. We just want to like play around with Nuxt. So Tailwind CSS for me is fast development, get it done.
Awesome. I love Tailwind. I got to blame Stephen for this as well, and maybe Mohammed as well. I think they got me into this, and I'm blown away. Although I have recently seen a demo of Beautify JS, and that did look really impressive.
Yeah, like if you're creating like the big application, imagine you're creating like a massive dashboard and you need all those kind of like type of components, then Beautify is amazing, right? But we're not going to do that today. So
Okay, we'll keep it
Tailwind,
simple.
Tailwind
Tailwind,
wins
let's
for
do
me.
it.
So now this is something interesting, right? Because you can use Axios, but I normally use like HTTP for calling,
Okay.
but like that's up to you. So we're going to be calling it an external API, which I don't think we are going
We
to.
won't. We'll just keep we have a local data variable or something just for the
Okay.
data for now.
So
We'll
then
keep
you
it
have
simple.
like you have progressive web app. Again, that's for like, creating a progressive web app. I mean, literally it takes seconds to do, but
That's
we don't
awesome.
need it. But it's literally like so easy. I mean, you could press it just to kind of add it just to show how quickly it is and easy it is
Okay.
to have a progressive web app. And now content. Do you know what content is?
No, no, tell us.
This is why I'm looking at this going, this is not good because, you've just come here as a new person and then you're like, do I want content? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And we haven't explained it, so that's really bad on our point, so we're gonna have to fix that. But yeah, content is a headless CMS inside Nuxt.
Oh wow. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, this is now I can kind of see what you mean by it's not a competition between NuxJS and something like Svelte because they do slightly different things depending. I mean, from what I'm seeing of all these extra modules and frameworks that we can add, it does seem like this can be used for more larger scale applications, which so it depends kind of what you're doing. I suppose less to manage being more of a framework. This is actually really interesting. It definitely kind of perked my ears and my eyes, and I think I'm definitely gonna even after this live stream gonna dig a lot deeper into this. Does sound really interesting.
Right, well, let's add content, because
Oh,
if you
okay.
don't use it, then don't worry about it, but it's just going to
Okay.
like install it all for you and it's then ready to use. So yeah, let's just add it. And again,
Well,
if you're out there and you want to add Axios, you can,
let's
but
just
I
add
want to use
everything because let's just see. We might use it, we might not, but it's there if we need it. Let's go.
Yeah, and now this is completely up to you because these can like play around a lot when you start mixing them together.
Okay.
Um, so if you're like if you want your code and have linters and prettier and lint staged files and style lint and comment lint, I'm gonna let you decide. But you shouldn't have issues. But I found issues like with my Vuetor extension in VS
Okay.
Code, which kind of like doesn't like um the linter and the prettier together, and then I've had to like config it manually and add
Oh,
some
interesting. Okay,
extra
let's
stuff
keep it
there.
simple for today then. So maybe I'll remove those for the moment. Let's just keep it dead
Yeah,
simple.
like if you
Um,
want to if you want to leave ESLint in, it's fine, but don't put prettier and ESLint together unless you're
okay.
willing to add in some manual config.
Okay, not at the moment. And just on the previous note, where people who are watching, I wasn't sure what content is. I don't know if people watching weren't sure either. Then don't forget open source. So go to the project. I should actually share a link
This is the Create
to.
Nux one. It's actually a different project altogether.
Oh,
It's separate from like
really?
yeah. So the Create
Interesting.
Nux is actually creating it for you, but it's not part of the core. It's an actual
It's a
other
separate thing.
module.
That makes sense. So let's go to the GitHub and I'll share the organization and then people can have a look around and have a play. So
Yeah.
this is it. And Stephen's asking a question already. Okay, let's have a look. So Stephen's saying, I replaced an entire solution with Beautify prototype because it was quicker than actually reducing a Webpack build of bad code. Ah, interesting to hear. Okay, I need to definitely have a look more at Beautify, I think. And okay, Stephen's question is it even possible or production ready for Nux to prototype with Vue 3 and TypeScript? Or is that still in alpha, beta, not mature yet to use in production?
So as Evan Yu said himself, literally like when he released properly officially Vue 3 is not ready yet.
Okay.
for production. Like you could start going in there, but not all your modules are ready. So you're going to have problems, right? That's just speaking about Vue. So if you're going to like start going into production with all your applications with Vue 3, you might have problems with your modules because they haven't had time to get there yet. So you should just give them
Got
a little bit
you.
of time to catch up. And then obviously with Nuxt, we also have to catch up by releasing Nux 3. And Nux 3 isn't out yet. Nux 3 will be using Vue 3. So until that is out, but for the moment, if you want to play around and have fun, we have a composition API in Nux 3 that you can play around with. So you can put that in and play with Vue code. But again, it's and I see Sergey there is in the chat. Thanks, Sergey. He's one of our team, one of the Nux teams. So he's
Hi,
checking up on all the
Sergey.
answers here, making sure I get it right. Woo! So yeah, if you want to play around with it because people are curious, then we have that possibility. So do that. But don't go into your company and say, I'm moving everything to using Vue 3 because that might be a mistake if you're kind of like going live now.
That's
But
true.
it's
That's
coming.
it.
Have patience, everyone,
So do you know how long it's going to be? We're talking months, a few months. It's probably okay. So not too far away. So soon-ish. It's almost within reach, which is
exactly.
which is good.
We don't want to have something that like release something and then something doesn't work because that just doesn't, like Vue 3 took 2 years, right?
Okay.
So we're not going to take 2 years, but we will take a couple of months. So it will be out. I don't know. You might get a Christmas present. You might get an Easter present. Who knows? I mean,
Okay, still not too far away in the grand scheme of things.
who knows?
So that's good.
Anything can happen.
And I just want to give another shout out to Debbie. So everyone watching, Debbie's Twitter link is in the description below. And I've got it here ready to share again if you want to reach out to her afterwards or follow her on socials and see what exciting things she is up to as well. I forgot to do that earlier on, so my apologies. Right, okay, so where was I? Okay, ESLint. This one's safe. Should we go ahead?
Throw in that one will do, and the rest, you can worry about that later. It's because we're just doing fast development right now. We're not going to be doing testing in today. If you wanted to add testing quickly, this will set up for you, but skip this for now.
Are you getting Cypress put into this? Because I think Cypress is just such a great testing tool.
Yeah, but Cypress is so easy to install and add that do you really need it here? Like it's literally like it does it all for you anyway.
Yeah, Cypress install or something. Yeah.
So, is there a point?
True. It's just because you had the others, that's all.
Okay, what are you going to do here?
This is one of my questions for you, actually. So that's so I can understand NuxJS more. So it can do the server-side rendering. And if I choose single page app, it's not going to do it on the server side. Is that going to run like a React or Vue or Angular app completely on the client side? Is that my understanding?
Exactly.
So
but I'm a big... Go on, you go.
Okay, so if it can run in the client side, just like Vue, what are the benefits on top of Vue? What does it give me? Is it because it's more of a framework and it does a lot of the setup for me and it has some extra features?
Yeah, so you've got like extra magic, like especially with development. It's got like the difference between a Vue single page application, Nux single page application. It's just as the whole structure of when you're developing. I don't think there's a specific difference when it's like live. Obviously, it's a little bit different because of the you're using the Nux hydration stuff, but it's literally just Vue. If you want a single page application, then you can run a single page application using Nuxt. Personally, I am like a very big fan of static sites.
Okay.
So I would kind of like almost build a static site first until I run into a situation where I go, this is not working for me. Now I need server-side rendering, and then I can change it and just be server-side rendered. I don't have a need ever to build a single-page application because obviously you don't get very good search engine optimization. You have a little bit, it's like a faster... or it takes a lot longer to download because the initial download's a little slow because it's like got to download all the JavaScript. So I always find static sites just give me everything I need.
Okay.
Until I get to the point that, okay, this isn't working. But in 90% use cases, unless you're building a massive application for an e-commerce site or something, then, I would go with static site. So as you can see, like you only have two choices here.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
yet then like you're kind of going, oh, but I could do static and I could do single and I could do server-side rendering, and it's the same choice, right?
Yeah.
Literally, you're just basically saying, do we want to have some sort of pre-rendering, or do we just want to have
Okay.
everything on the client?
I see. Okay. And before I make a decision, or before we make a decision as a team and everyone watching, can I change this later, or am I committed once this is started? Is that done?
You're committed. You can't change ever. You're
Okay.
stuck for life. No, I'm only messing.
Oh, what? Okay, right. Okay, you got me scared there for a bit. Right. Okay. So, but is it like a simple config change, or would I have to rewrite code?
It's a little like it's literally a very simple config and a deployment command that you'll have to change,
Okay.
right? So if you're doing like a single, or if you're doing say server side rendering, you're going to build, and if you're doing static sites, you're going to generate, right?
Okay.
But you will have to change, like if you're doing single page application, you're going to have to basically say server false, because you're not using the server to generate. But you can literally change it. You may have some issues depending on the plugins you use. If you're going to like go to server side rendering,
Okay.
you might have an issue where you go, okay, this is not working for me, and then you just have to add that plugin as a client only plugin. But that's about as difficult as it gets. So
Okay.
yes, the answer is it's a simple config.
I quite like that. That's really, really sparking my interest. I think my weekend is now going to be taken over by this. Okay. So, shall I pick one? What should we go for? You said server side or universal. So let's go universal, right? Let's do
Yes.
that. Have I busted it? No, wait. Oh, I didn't have the terminal selected. My bad.
Okay,
Okay,
now what do
right.
you want to do? Oh no, another
Jamstack. It's like buzzword. Buzz, buzz.
yes, exactly. Just do it because it's a buzzword. I love that. Yeah. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it does, but I hear everyone
Buzzword
talking about
driven development, right? Isn't that what
it.
everyone's doing at the moment? Buzzword driven development. So, which one would you normally choose?
Well, I would kind of just think about where are you going to host your application?
Okay. I think it was static, right? I could host it on something like GitHub Pages.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or
that's quite
Netlify
nice.
or Burst or something free, right? Which free is always good. But if you're going to do a server, you're going to need a Node.js hosting, and that means money, and money is, money. So it depends on where you're going to host. So think about that.
Okay, let's go static. Let's go static. Can we change this later? Is this possible to change?
Yeah, of course it is. Like I said, it's config. Just change
Okay,
the config.
loving config. Config driven development is definitely better than buzzword driven development.
Exactly. So JS config recommended for VS Code if you're not using TypeScript, and we are not using TypeScript because I haven't allowed you to. So yeah, you can just select that one. Semantic pull requests. I mean, we don't need this right now because no one's going to be adding to your pull requests, just you. So, but that's up to you. You can add it if you want.
What
And
is
depend.
semantic? Sorry to interrupt. What is semantic pull requests?
Yeah, like they don't even like mention it here, and I even asked this when I first saw it. I was like, what, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to explain it right because I never ever select it, or I select it and then I don't know exactly what it does. But it's about like having the pull requests, like that you should use. If I'm saying it rightly, and someone correct me in the chat if no, that the pull request should follow a standard, like of how you're
Okay.
committing it, like
Okay.
the
That sounds
method.
good. I like standards. That sounds good.
But
Okay,
if
I'll
it's
leave it off
just
for
you,
now. I'll have a play
yeah.
later on when I come up with a project. So I need to redo my personal website, and I want to have like a public speaking page, like a YouTube page with like links to my selected featured YouTube videos and so on. So I was toying to using Svelte. I think Nux is really like pushing ahead. I know it's just going to be a simple site. It's kind of a bit silly, but I really like the idea of switching between static site, server side rendering, and single page app. I really really like the idea. So
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
and
good.
you got me
Okay.
thinking of some interesting things that I could do maybe later. If it is just config and it is deployment commands, I wonder if I can have multiple GitHub actions and deploy 3 different sites to different subdomains. But anyway, that's something for later on. It's just my brain going ahead
Yeah.
and so
Let's
on. So
let's not confuse everyone. Oh my god.
okay, let's do it. Right. Okay.
Right. You
Git.
you skipped one, and I didn't you just went for it. But there was a depend about one there, and that's kind of just good to mention that if you are
Okay.
having an application and if it's hosted on GitHub, you have this depend about coming in, and that basically is like updating your dependencies so you don't have to. It can be very annoying because you get all these emails telling you, and then you click a button and stuff. But anyway, it's a really really cool feature. Um, so yeah, version control system, Git. I mean, I would hope everyone's using Git. If you're using something else, then I
And
think we had
good
one
luck to them, but definitely check
and it
out.
died and doesn't exist anymore. So yeah.
Okay, that's while that's installing. Let me look at the chat as well. Thank
Mm,
you, Sergey's answering some questions in the chat, so I really appreciate that.
great.
So that's really, really good. Nice. And one question from Varun. Can I use Nux with other Vue.js frameworks like Beautify, Quasar? I think yes. I want to say yes. I don't know if I'm the right person to
Well,
answer that, but the reason why I say
Beauti-
yes is because we saw the
Beautify is
option.
a is a component library. So obviously yes, and Quasar is a framework. Am I right?
I don't know. I haven't used that before.
I haven't used it either. So yeah, I like Beautify obviously yes, and Quasar I don't know because I don't think you can because I think it's a framework like as in VuePress, right? So
It's
yeah,
something we'll
okay,
have to
cool.
get back to people on. So if anyone's really interested, hit me in the Discord. Link is in below, or
Yeah,
tag
for
us
me
on
it's
Twitter, and we'll have
for
a
me it's
look.
like what Nuxt is but different ish.
Okay.
Okay, uh
Nice.
so we get this, right? So successfully created, so it's all good. And you saw it didn't take long. And like it's literally telling you what to do. So CD, you're going into the folder next to live stream, and then you literally run the dev command. Now, before you do that, well, you can do it, you can run it because it's stay on the screen. But you can also see you've got to build and start for production. And it's telling you that you can like, you can build it and you can start it as well. So I want to see what you've done. Um, Okay, and you can see you've got a message. Are you interested in Nux telemetry? So this is really cool. This is a project the Nux team created for the Vue community, right? And Sergey, who's in the chat, he did all the work on it and all
Oh,
that like cool work on all the
awesome.
design and everything. It's amazing. And this is a way of for people to see like who's using what in projects, and it's completely
Interesting.
like anonymous. So we don't know that it's you or that it's me that are working on this project, right? But someone could then see that application and see that you're using like not see inside it, right? But just see the modules. And then it's kind of like a good way of us to know which modules are popular, which ones we should work on more and
Nice.
improve, etc. So it's a really, really cool thing. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out because it's really, really cool. And especially as a developer, right? We kind of like want to look at a site and then say, oh, how do they build that? Did they use Tailwind or did they use Beautify? And you can then see that. So I would
Nice.
always participate
I'm going to
because like
participate, definitely.
it's helping us. So yeah, it's cool. And nobody knows you. So it's fine. No one's going to find you. So you can see like your environment is development. And if you like scroll up a bit while it's
Oh,
doing, you lost it. Yeah. Um,
this looks very like geeky and Matrix. I'm loving this already. I'm sold just on these bars. Like this is
yeah.
brilliant.
So you can see the rendering is server side and the target is static,
Got you.
right? So you did the right thing so far. There's a couple of Tailwind things in there that Tailwind are making some breaking changes and stuff. So don't worry about that for now. It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't be worrying about it. So if you open localhost 3000,
Let's do it. Everyone watching, just before I forget as well, if you haven't subscribed to the video, to the channel yet, do subscribe. It does support me. Hit the bell button to get notified and give the video a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video. It helps me understand which videos I should do more of and which guests I should bring in again, do like a part 2 or part 3 and so on. So do let me know. That's awesome. Right. Okay. So the site is up. Yes.
so the site is up. It's very simple and basic, and it's kind of not that exciting. We should make this more exciting, but that's for another day. But yeah, you have a link to the documentation. You have a link to GitHub, right? What we're going to do is go into the code and see what just got created for us, right? Because we didn't really do a lot of work. We just pressed some buttons, or I didn't do anything. You just pressed some buttons, and you didn't even know what you pressed.
No, you were the puppet
So let's,
master, and I was just like clicking
yeah,
away.
pretty much. So let's have a look at what you got. So can you open the code?
Yes, let's have a look. So let me open a new tab and we'll just go, can't spell code. Let's bring it up and have a look. Oh, we'll make this a lot bigger.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
Right. Okay.
Help us to improve our support for TypeScript. No, come
I will
on.
do that
They
later. So
don't
remind me
know that you're doing
later.
a live stream. They just like, they're like, hey, I'm going to tell everyone about TypeScript. I think they know and they send these messages out to you. Okay, so we're going
Where
to
should we
go
look
through now.
first?
I'm just looking here. I'm trying to move because I have a picture of me.
Oh, you can turn that off
on
at the bottom if you want to move yourself.
can I?
There's a button at the bottom. You should be able to turn it off because you can see yourself.
Toggle
You're on the
camera
screen
preview,
anyway.
is it?
I think so.
Toggle
Yeah.
camera preview. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm gone. Right. Now I can see the code.
Okay.
Okay, so it literally gives you a folder structure. And this is the difference between Vue and Nuxt in that you get all these folders set up. Now, when I first started with
Awesome.
Nuxt, I was like, oh, I don't want people telling me where to put my things. I want to do it myself. I'm like,
Really, I'm the
cool. And I
opposite. That's why I love Angular because it just tells you where to put stuff. I'm like, brilliant. It goes like this. These are the standards. Let's do it. Right. Okay. So you're the
yeah.
opposite. Okay.
So, well, it's because I started in Vue, right? And in Vue, you have that kind of freedom, and then you
Okay.
come in here and it's all set out for you. But once you kind of realize that actually this is much better because you can go into anyone's code and everything is the same.
Yes, exactly. Onboarding becomes so much easier and getting people to contribute to your project. Again, I think so much easier than trying to hunt around and look for stuff and fight for stuff. So.
Okay, so well, actually, you're gonna go through each folder and tell me what's inside each folder.
Okay, so this is the test, right? Okay, so there's a Nux, the validation which is installed locally. If you trust this version, I trust it. Okay, so I guess this is okay. .nux is where it puts all its like working files, which makes sense. And then assets, okay, it tells us, got a README in it that tells us what it is, which is awesome. Being readme.md, when you're on GitHub, it's automatically going to come up in that folder when you go into that or under the file list, which is, I think, just awesome. This directory is not required. You can delete it if you don't want to use it. This directory contains your uncompiled assets, such as LS, SAS, or JavaScript. No, I like that. That sounds good. Components, okay. Do you want to install? Yeah, I do. I do want to install this. It will help me. But while that's installing, let's come back to here. So, okay, template, SVG. This is what we saw on the page, right? I think.
Yeah. So that's the logo component. So that's a component, and it basically has an SVG inside it, which is the logo. So yeah, that's where your components go in the components folder.
Okay, awesome. Oh, it has a README as well. This directory is also not required. You can delete it if you don't want to use it. I want to use it, so we're going to keep it. Okay.
Okay.
Content. This looks very much like, is it like Jekyll when you do static pages with Jekyll and GitHub pages in terms of...
Yeah, so the top there is YAML. So this is basically has a title and description at the top. So then you can access that title and description from, without having to access the body. So if you wanted to have a list of blog posts, you could have the title and description and you're just fetching those. And then you can fetch the content when you go into the actual page. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So if this is already there, when on the website, how do I kind of see that? How can I, is that because that's just a demo file or should it be, would it be like Jekyll where it becomes one of our pages?
Yeah, so it hasn't used it in the create Nux tab. I've actually I've never added it to the create Nux tab. I've only ever added it to existing projects. So you're going to have to actually fetch it, and I don't think that example is in there for you.
Okay, no problem.
Because we don't know where you want to fetch it. I mean, we could probably create a page and have the fetch in there so it's easier. I think we could work on that. We'll discuss it.
I think that would be my suggestion because you've got the file there, an example file, so it would be nice to see how that example file can get used within the application.
Because you're going to look for it and you're going to go, and I could be surprised. I might open the pages folder and it might be there, but we'll see. So yeah.
Okay, so now we're into layouts. Oh, I'm liking this. Can I click on it? Let me see. Does it go to it? Oh, I might need to reopen VS Code.
So do you know what that is?
No. I'm guessing some magic component.
Yeah, so this is the base of what your page is going to hold, right? This is your router view if you're coming from Vue, or you're if you're coming from React, it's the React router component. So this is a React view page, or I don't know, I can't remember React. But yeah, basically this is what's going to what everything that you write in your page is going to be put in here. So why would you want a layout? Sergey in the chat, Sergey hates layouts.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So it depends on your use cases. It always uses the default layout for any page. And like you could put a header component in there, a footer component, and then you don't have to repeat it across pages.
See,
it's good if you're like using a sign-in page and then you don't want to have that header and footer
exactly,
component.
yeah. Or like you've got an admin section where you might have some extra, things that the admin can do, or might even have a different layout, might be full width rather than fixed or something like that. So I do like layouts, I gotta admit. Sorry, Sergey.
Okay, let's keep going. You don't have to read all the readmes because it might take too long.
Okay,
We'll just go right.
Well, middleware is always interesting because it comes up a lot in conversation. I think sometimes people use these wrong or don't quite understand it. So this is a really interesting one. So this is good. Do you have any examples? Not required. This directory contains your application's middleware. Middleware let you define custom functions that can be run before rendering a page or a group of pages. So I like that. That's really nice. You can have something almost like in Angular we call them. I'm trying to think now. Resolve will be resolving data, but we also have something else. I forget. I can't remember the names. It's been too long. But okay, that sounds good. Middleware sounds useful.
Yeah, we can come back to that. Node modules, everyone should know what that is.
Yeah, we'll give that a skip.
Okay, so this is your page, right? Which is going to be like then filled in with that Nuxt component, right? That we saw in the layout.
Got you.
So everything that goes in here is going to be a page. If we want to create a new page, we just create another .vue file. So
if I change this, will it change it on this page?
What do you think?
I don't know. Will it automatically reload as well? I'm guessing it will because it just seems pretty. It says compile successfully, and it has. It's changed it. Okay, awesome. I'm liking that.
Like, of course.
Of course. Hey, I'm new to this. I'm just, checking. I'm going slowly, easing myself in. So, okay, I'm liking that. That's good. All right, we'll keep going. I'm just trying to think how things link together because you have the layout, which then links to this link. So how does this tie to the page? Like, how does that know to load this?
So if you delete that, so why don't you just if you delete that from the, you're just going to have nothing.
Yes, if I save that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just got nothing, right? Because that's your content coming from the page.
Okay, and if I had another page, how would I load a different page? Or am I rushing too far ahead? Let's do it. Okay, new file. We're going to call this the Eddie page. Okay, how about that? No, that's a terrible idea. That was a joke. We'll say contacts. We'll make it the contacts page. There we go. Or, no, okay, about Vue. There we go. All right. Okay. So this is about something. Oh no, I probably have to put it within tags. You're right. I'm getting too far.
Yeah. You were like trying to write Markdown there or something.
I was thinking of the other file that we opened before with the YAML at the top, and then I was thinking I'll put the YAML in a second. So okay,
so the files that you need to use. Remember Vue, for those that don't know how Vue is structured, you've got template, which is like your HTML stuff, and then you've got script, which is your JavaScript stuff, and then you've got style, which is your CSS stuff, right? And that can all be done on the one page. Now you don't always need all of them.
Okay. So you don't have to have them.
You don't have to have them, but you can have them. So it depends. So in this one, we'll just use the template for now, and we can add the JavaScript in a minute.
I do have a question. Say if this is probably maybe a bad question. I think it's a bit actually. Okay, if I wanted to separate it like in Angular, I wanted to have the template in one file and then the CSS in another file and the scripts in another file. Is that possible? Is that not really? Is that kind of frowned upon?
No, if you want to make your life as difficult as possible, you are more than welcome to
No, I want it easy. I want an easy life.
Yeah, because literally and I worked in Angular, right? And when you're working with your data so closely to your template, and then you have to open another file and find it, and then you go back into the template, and then you go back into the data, then you go to the CSS file. You're jumping files all the time, and we're just scrolling. So you can jump or you can scroll.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I still haven't got comfortable with all three being in a file, but that's probably me being old-fashioned and out of a bit kind of old school. So okay, we'll try it. We'll do it. So in here, I can put anything I want. I guess I could do.
Yeah.
I can't type, but we can do. I don't know. Hello. About. There we go.
Okay.
So that's not going to appear anywhere because we haven't told it to.
No, but you could in the browser just type about at the end, and it will just be there.
Oh, it's looping around. It's got itself in a bit of a
You broke it.
I broke it. Do I need to? Let's it's pages. Do I need to put the path in?
No, that's just the pages folder. So I don't know, just hit the refresh button or something.
Yeah, my browser's definitely gone a bit skew with because it's looping round over and over. Oh, there you go, it stopped.
Now that's okay. See if you can do.
Let me open a new. Maybe I should do Chrome.
What were you using?
This is Safari.
Oh, good. Okay, no, it should still work on Safari.
It should still work. You're right. Okay. Let me just start that. I'm gonna rebuild that again. Okay. There's nothing else, no other config I need to do or anything like that.
No, it normally just picks it up. So I don't know. Something just happened in your.
Okay, let's have a look. See what it says.
Live, guys. This is all about live coding, and we don't always.
But it keeps it authentic, right? Because what I find, I love making videos on YouTube. Everyone knows that. But then when it's compressed in say 5 minutes, and you just see all the things that work perfectly, and then people come to do it, and they go, "Oh, but it wasn't as smooth for me. It didn't work that smoothly. Am I not as good? Is my computer not as good? Am I using the wrong software?" And that's why I love live streaming, because it shows that even I've got over 15 years experience. You've got a lot of experience. I don't know the exact number, but you've got loads as well. So even with all of us, we still have these teething problems, and I think that's normal, and that's why I love doing live streams. Okay. It's still doing a weird refresh. So I don't know if you can see it, it's quite small, but it is continually looping round. Okay, I've just escaped that for a second.
You stopped it. Did you stop it and start it again?
I did stop it and start it again, yeah. So
what have you done wrong? You've got the template, right? You've put the div, you put the H1. I mean, it looks okay. You broke.
So I did break it. We've got some people chatting in the chat. Let me see. While you're having a quick thing, let me just see if anyone's come up with a solution, because it usually happens. Someone in the chat comes up with a solution. So that's good.
I think they're fixing Stephen's big question or something, or someone had a big question that wasn't. Yeah, that was hard to answer in this stream that we'll fix later.
Okay, I thought this was funny. I had to bring this one up. Thanks, Mikey.
Okay, well, let's just that's fine, and it will figure itself out in a second. Let's add a navigation to link to it.
Okay, let's do it.
In case you're typing out wrong or something, and I'm just not seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, yeah, the URL part is tiny, so I'm probably spelling about wrong. That's probably what it is. Okay, right. So tell me how we do that. Sorry. Oh, actually, before we do that, sorry, there's a few more folders. I wouldn't mind knowing about these folders. So what's plugins?
So plugins is where you add plugins, right? Now it sounds like that didn't answer my question, right? But there's a lot of like really cool plugins out there. So we have like in Vue, like a toast plugin. So when you're hovering over something, it shows a toast message. So instead of creating that yourself, or say a carousel, I hate carousels, but say you don't want to create that yourself, you want to use it. So that's where you would like include it, and then you can use it in your application. So that's for plugins. You're plugging it in, right? It's like a plugin.
Nice. And static.
You can create your own as well.
Okay.
So static is for the things that are not going to go through Webpack. So think about like the favicon there is a perfect example. The icon.png file. This is really interesting. So if you click on that, that's what's we gave you the Nux logo, but you're going to like replace it with yours. That's used for the PWA, right? And it should be 512, and then the PWA module will actually give you the sizes you need for iPad, iPhone, Android, etc., etc. So yeah,
nice.
You got that for free. And it created a service worker.js file for you as well. That was created for you by installing the PWA. So you don't need to modify or do anything with that. Just, it's there. Don't like delete it if you want your PWA. That's why it's there. Because
that's
added
awesome.
That.
Oh, I love that. That's very good.
So
that is so nice. And store, yes.
So the store is like, if you want to share things across a store. So you've got in Angular, what is it? The
service layer.
Yeah, like the RxJX.
Oh, RxJS. So the observables and so forth for observables and subscribers and stuff.
For sharing between different pages and stuff. So it's your store. Now, this is the Vuex store. You can use it or not use it. If you don't add a single file into that folder, then we don't activate the store. So the store is not activated at the moment. as soon as you add a file, it gets activated. So you're not actually adding extra weight into your application by having that folder there. It's only when you have a file inside it is when you add that.
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds good. Something I have to look into. Vuex. So is that a bit like Redux? Or have I completely?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's where it was like kind of, taken from Flutter, Redux, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So editor config is what was given to you. That's so you can play around with your editor files by
Nice.
indent sizes and stuff like that. So we won't go too much into that. Again, ESLint is for your linting. You can click on it so we can just quickly see it.
Oh yeah, let's have a quick look and see.
It's set up for you, so you don't have to worry about how to set it up, and it's adding the NuxJS plugin, Nux recommended, so it's giving you that on the Babel ESLint as well. And you can then add more rules to it if you want to. Git ignore, obviously for ignoring, for git ignore, and it's adding everything like you can never imagine already added for you, which is cool. JS config, so this is the one I never add. So compiler options and exclude.
But it's all configured already, which is great. So there's nothing we have to worry too much about. Now, this is the interesting part.
So this is the coolest page of the whole application, because this is the one that you can tweak to do whatever you want. So exactly what you're highlighting there, target static, and as it's written there, this is basically if you decide you don't want to do a static site anymore, you just remove it.
That's
you
awesome.
Just delete that line, delete it, and then you can do server-side rendering instead.
That's so cool. I love that. That's brilliant.
So yeah, target static. You're going very fast down that.
Oh, sorry. I got too excited. I kind of went ahead. Sorry. Okay, let me slow down. I was so excited. Right. Okay.
Yeah, Sergey's just saying try incognito mode in Chrome because you could have all service workers messing up your 3000.
Oh, we see. Let's give that a quick go. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, that seems to be, yeah. It's not reloading.
Service workers are really, really annoying, and I always have that issue especially when I have, there's your beautiful about page.
And it works, yeah. Thank you, Sergey.
So thank you, Sergey, for thinking outside the box. But yeah, if anyone ever comes across that problem and has been working on before, yeah, Chrome should just fix that, just there should be a button that says kill all service workers.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, you have a global page headers, right? So you have this is for your search engine optimization. You want a title on your page, so you can't see it because you're using Safari, and Safari you can't see page titles.
If I do a tab, then I can see it, right? So now you can see. Right. Now it's got the tab thing. You can see it. It's a feature, not a bug.
Okay. So yeah, this gives you all your meta descriptions and stuff. So you've got your char set UTF-8, the viewport, etc., your description. And then you can obviously just write in the content you want for your description. And then it's got the fav icon. So that's already loaded for you, right?
That's awesome.
So you don't need to do anything, which is cool. Global CSS, this is really important. This is for adding a CSS file. So if you were going to add one into your assets folder, and you want to maybe a main CSS file that you want available across all your application, then you would add that here.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And same with the plugins, I guess. If you add anything to the plugins directory, you add it here as well.
You add it there, exactly. Now, this is cool. Components true, line 27. This is going to auto-import your components for you, right? Now, that means you don't have to write import statements. It's all done for you. If you don't like that because you like making your life difficult and writing import statements, then you just delete that line and then you go back to old school, just like you would do in, previously before that feature was included. Okay, so build modules. So these are the modules for dev and build, and we've got ESLint and Tailwind. So that's cool. And then we have some modules. We added the Axios, we added PWA, and we added content. So they've already been added in. So that's great. And then the others down below, the Axios and content, that's if you wanted to config anything, right? Okay. So we're not going to config anything extra, but that's there. On build config, if you wanted to add anything to the Webpack build, for example, then you would put that in there. And that's pretty much it. Now, it looks like a kind of full on, oh my God, there's so much going on, but it's really nicely explained. There's links to all the documentation. So
I really like the links to documentation. I'm going to go look at content later on as well, because that sounds so interesting as well.
Yes,
I think it's done really well.
It's brilliant. Okay, so we got as far as the Nux config. What's at the bottom?
Yes. Next config. Then you got the package lock, which we won't go through. We've got package JSON, which
Yeah, you can take the package quickly, which just shows you the scripts, right? And that's kind of like, important. So you've got like, dev. So you're using npm, so npm run dev. You can get your dev environment. And if you were going to like send this for production, because we're building a static site, you're going to use the generate. If you were going to like remove target static, then you would
got
use
you.
the build.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, brilliant. So we'll generate it.
Yeah, and you can
Awesome.
generate it, and then you can run the start command and actually see it like how it would be in a production environment as well. So that's kind of cool.
That is very cool. I do like it how you
Okay.
can kind of replicate how it will be like in production. So you can like on a you can just double check things, especially if you've done something, some config changes. Just double check that how it would run in production, how it would run on CI before it got deployed to production and so forth. So that's epic.
Yeah. Okay, how are we doing for time?
We've probably got about 30 minutes, I guess. So we better kind of power through and build a bit more.
Okay, so we've pretty much set up our application and we've gone through it in detail, right? And we've figured out how to, get rid of server worker issues. So it's not too bad. So we've created a page, and that's that's already been created for you. And all you had to do is like create about.vue, right?
That is very. I was really impressed with that, and yeah, I'm thinking next we probably need to do it. So change one of these buttons to link to that about page, and then maybe on the about page we can create an array of objects and maybe create I don't know, loop through those and see what a loop looks like, a condition maybe or something like that, so we can get kind of a feel for a more realistic application.
Maybe we could fetch that dummy content that's already in the content folder and try and see if we can retrieve it onto that page.
Okay, I'm sold. Let's do
That's
it.
kind of like, because it's there, right? And it was really annoying for you that it's there, and you're kind of like going, oh, why is it not already there for me? It's really interesting, isn't it? Because what I find is, as a developer, like, you want to be challenged, yet you want everything done for you.
You want the
Right?
best of both worlds. I think we have an expression, right? You want your cake and you want to eat it. And I always reply to that, why would I buy a cake if I can't eat it? Okay.
Okay, so let's
Show
first
me.
of all do the link. That's kind of important. And again, I'm gonna I'm gonna let you open the documentation, because
Okay.
you're not gonna find the answer in your code for this.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
always like,
Okay.
yeah, like, I don't think you will, because it's linking to an external link, so it's actually just gonna not it's not created for you, which is kind of interesting. Right, so we're going to routing, aren't we?
Let's do it.
So we've already created a page, yeah? And can you see navigation? That's what you need to do.
Okay. To navigate between pages in your app, you should use Nux link component. Sounds good, makes sense. You don't have to import it as you would do other components. Also sounds good. So instead of using href, we'd use to. Okay. Oh, router link. That looks very Angular.
Yeah, well, Vue uses the router link, so Nux link is the same as the Vue version of router link, right? So that's basically where it's coming from. And we're using Vue router, okay? So it's not like we've created a router. We're using the Vue router that was, that's being maintained at the moment by Eduardo. So everything works exactly how it is, and you can go in and config that to your liking as well. So you can go deep into that if you want to. But we're just going to copy that Nux link, or you can write it yourself. You can copy it, whatever.
I can copy it. I'm not, proud or anything like that. I'm happy to be a copy and paste developer. It's fine.
I always copy and paste.
Right, so if we go to, we move these. So the first tab is going to be our layout, and the second tab is going to be what we see. So at the moment, you're right, they're external links. It's called documentation. Yeah. And so I'm going to just put another one probably before it. And what I'm also going to do is can I put a class on that? Would that work so it looks the same?
Yeah, because those classes, I think they're actually coming from the layout. So they're going to be applied to any page.
Okay.
But you've also installed Tailwind, so I think you can even just, although it didn't give you a Tailwind config file, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, we won't go into that.
Yeah, I'll have a play afterwards and see. So I've put the link in. I'm saying I was going to go to the about, so it's going to go to about. Yeah. I've kept the same class as the one below it, called it about, and shall we have a look?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gone the wrong way.
I was going
Uh,
to say, you broke it again.
yeah. Okay, it looks the same. Look, it looks good. You've got About button, and that should be an internal one. So if I click it, it goes to the About page. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
we've got a link. We've got routing, and I haven't done any configuration, which I think is just awesome because that is always a bit of a pain.
Yeah. It's especially when it comes to routing. So yeah,
Yes.
and that's code splitted for you as well, which is even cooler. So right, we want to try and then put on this about page something interesting because this is a bit boring and kind of like, someone's looking in and kind of going, this is crap. It's using default Tailwind config until you create your own. Okay, cool. Thanks,
Like
Sergey.
that. Nice.
So yeah, so you can add your Tailwind classes in, and if you want to then modify the config, then add your own config file for Tailwind and then modify it to your heart's content. So that's cool.
Sounds good.
Um, so we're going to use content. And again, I could just tell you, but I always like to kind of like use the documentation because I think everyone watching this, like I use the documentation all the time as well. So the content can actually be found in the directory structure because it's like the directory structure documentation over on the left. Yeah, this is kind of this is a beginner's directory structure when they get started book, and we've gone
Okay.
advanced. We've like jumped. We're on the next level, right?
Okay,
So this is
we'll do it.
yeah. So this is the content. Content one. Content. Click on content.
Oh, content. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, so the content tells you a little bit and of how the content works. Is great when you can download this and kind of have a look at that beautiful graphic that Kruti, one of our ambassadors, created for us,
That is
which is really nice.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you click on it, it will open it in big.
That looks really, really
Right?
cool. It's like a kind of like an infographic. I like that, like a cheat sheet.
Yeah. So that can kind of help you if you're like new to using content and want to kind of, dive into a bit more. So we can close that for now.
That's really nice. I like that idea. That's really good.
Yeah, there's a good few of them now, and they're really, really cool. Okay, so we want to use content. You're like kind of going, how do we use content, right? So scroll down anyway, scroll up depending on what you're using, and basically like displaying content is simple as this, right? This is how you're going to display it. Now, this documentation is just like basic. The content module has a complete documentation, and if you see the link there that says see the content module docs for more details, you could click that link and you will go to the module documentation, which is
Got
like
you.
amazing, right? And that's going to give you even more details, and you can like kind of dive deeper. So we'll stay on the Nux docs for now because then I'll kind of like find out if they work.
Makes sense.
So what you're doing here is you're displaying content. We want to display what's in that content folder in that page that's been created for us, right? And to do that, we need to use Nux content component.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. I was just looking at the chat, so I kind of got a bit distracted. So remind me what you said again. Apologies.
Yeah, so we're just going to like copy that Nux content component, which says Nux content document equals article. So we're going to copy that.
So this whole part, this whole thing.
Well, we don't want the whole template, do we? Because we already have our about
Oh, that's
page.
true. We've got a page. Yeah. So
the article, that's just HTML tag, or we can just put it straight. Depends on what
let's
we're
put
actually,
it. We can put it in article. I don't mind.
like
Whatever.
This has nothing to do with Nux content. It's just a HTML tag. Could be a div.
Yeah. I usually use divs, but articles is better. But I want to stick to divs for now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay.
Okay, so we're basically saying that the document, the body of our page, of our markdown, is equal to article, right? That's kind of like not really doing much for us, right?
Okay.
So let's go back to our documentation because we can't really display something if we haven't fetched it. And we're going to need to fetch it. So we're not going to style anything for now. So we can kind of like skip through that. But as you can see, you've got a .nux content. So you can easily like style anything in that markdown by using .nux content style, right?
Okay.
We've got handling markdown. So we had a quick look at the file that was created for us.
True.
Gave us that. We can use view components in Markdown. So, we could play around with that later, but for the moment, we're not going to do that.
Okay, so which one do you recommend I do for now?
Oh, just keep going.
I'll keep
I'll just
going.
keep
Okay.
talking.
It's just you're teasing me with all this awesome stuff. I mean, this is pretty cool how it just works out the box. I'm really liking this. I see some Tailwind example usage as well, which gets people up to speed really quickly. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So this is like the fully searchable
Wow,
API. So you can use content to list, filter, and search your content easily.
that's
So
nice.
this is kind of like this is an example of how to fetch it, but also how to this is probably giving you too much, but let's just take it and then delete what we don't want, right? So
Okay, you want to take all of this?
um,
Okay.
yeah,
I love the
because it's
support
not a simpler.
in the chat. Sorry to interrupt, Deborah. I love the support in the chat. Diraj says, loving these. Looking forward to a Django one. I'll see what I can do, and let me know on Discord and remind me, and I'll see what I can do. And Stephen says, keep trucking along, Eddie. I'm doing it. I'm trying.
You
Okay,
missed the best comment.
which one?
I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, so I'm sorry if I do, but Diraj just said Nuxt has one of the best documentation as far as I've seen. Thank you. So yeah, I hope so. We're making it better. We're actually creating examples. I'm creating an examples book. It should be out very, very soon. That's going to make it even better. So
There you go. I've
thank you
put it
for
up on the screen. There we go. I do think it's
Cool.
pretty awesome so far. Don't get me wrong. I have been skipping through it, and it
I'm kind of
does look awesome.
that I'm like writing down and going, oh my God, I need to improve on this, right? So yeah, we're basically copying this. So as you can see, it's a script tag. So it's going in the same page as your like HTML. Oh no, Eddie, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, just get used to it, right? So some ESLint issues there or something, or
I
spacing.
would have thought it'd fix it, but okay, that's fine. Let's see. Format document. It might make it worse. Multiple. Oh, okay. Which one? I
Yeah,
don't think we're using either.
don't do any of those. Don't worry about it. Just press save and it'll be
I
fine.
press save. It's okay. Living dangerously, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, an error. Okay, I might have broken. I have broken something. Oh, it's because
Just
of the
in
linters.
Yeah, like that's why I said if you're going to add linters, it can really slow down development unless you've got your config set up properly.
There we go. I
Um,
fixed it now. Oh, there's one not happy about that. Missing white space before function.
yeah,
Oh, really?
just
Oh,
quick fix
okay.
and done. That's
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
Okay, we're good. It's loading. It's loading.
Right.
See the progress bar on the top. Okay.
You don't even know what you did. You just copy pasted and kind of went, oh, that's going to work. But you
Well, it's
actually know what you did.
documentation. It should work, right?
But it's a different project.
Okay, that's true. Right. Okay, everyone watching, don't do what I'm doing.
So it's basically like what we're doing here is we're using async data, right? We're passing in dollar content. Now that's really important because that's we need that.
Okay.
We're passing in params. We probably don't need that because we only want to get one page. But what we want to do is get the page. Like here, we're basically saying like go to articles and get me the content from articles, right? But do we have an articles folder?
I don't. No, we don't.
No. So you see the example in the documentation is different to the example code that you got in the Create Nux app. So that can be confusing as well. So really what you want to do is you want to fetch that hello page. So you want to fetch hello and not an articles folder followed by a page, which is the params.slug. So yeah, let's stick in hello and get rid of the second parameter.
Okay, so in here I would put in hello, not content.
Yeah, because content is the folder. So $content's going to read that content folder, right?
Got you. Okay, so it treats that. Okay, got you. Okay. And then I'll do hello. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and get rid of the second parameter because that's if you were going to use a folder, like you were going to go into a folder called articles and get like the article.
Okay.
Right. Now we only want a title and description because we don't have an image. We do get a slug. We don't have an author, so we don't need them.
Oh, not that one.
So
that one. Yeah, title and description. You're right. Okay, so let's ditch those.
You can ditch all those, and we don't need to sort it by created at. Now you do get created at. It is given to you. We don't need to worry about it. So we can just get rid of it for now because we only have one file anyway. But we do need to fetch, right? Now, what we're doing here is that we're only going to get the title and description. So if you want the body, which is what we're doing above, then you might want to actually just like completely delete only.
Got you. I see what you mean.
Because
Well, only to limits it down. Right. So if we get rid of that, it's going to bring us everything.
going to give you everything. So only is great if that's only what you want. But in this case, we want everything. Now we're saying const articles and returning articles, and we're saying document equals article. So let's call it like hello or something, or let's just change the name to be a bit more, yeah, just to kind of like make it more sense.
Okay.
And we can even get rid of params because we don't need that. Just like, for a user point of view, someone watching kind of going, why is that there?
That's true. It's not being
there.
used. Okay.
So that's pretty much all we need. And that should work. Now, if that doesn't work, then you've broken Nuxt again.
I've broken it again. And my question was going to be, how does this function, how does it know to call this function? As in, what ties...
So the Nux content is doing document equals hello, and we're returning hello. So you could go document equals my doc or page. Sometimes we call it page.
Okay.
Sometimes we call it doc. Sometimes we call it article if it's an article. Hello is probably a terrible name, right? You could call it page. Might be better.
Okay. I don't think it will fix it, but I will rename it because hello is bad. Right. Okay. So if I call it page, and I have to rename.
Right. You see,
right? I do too much. So
yeah, because you don't have a page called page. You have a page called hello. So you want to fetch the hello.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was going to rename the file, but no, you're right. I think it's better to call it hello like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that links, right? That's returning the page, and that's linking to page. I think that's correct.
Right. So that, I'm not sure if that will work, but have a look.
Let's see.
If not, it's because of... There we go.
It worked.
Right? It's really ugly, right? And you're probably saying, like, where did I get that from? So if you want to like put like I don't know, something stupid like a border around it or something, or kind of like no.
Oh, you got excited. You said add a border. I got excited. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's do it in the style.
Oh, I was going to use Tailwind, so I was just going to add the class. But okay, I see what you mean.
How to like use the Nuxt the content.
True.
Class.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I can't remember what it's called, but it's called content or something. What is it called? The class.
Oh, the one from the document.
Content. Yeah, Nuxt content. So .Nuxt content. Remember dot for class.
Oh yeah, it's class. You're right. Okay.
Right, and then like here. Yeah. And then you can put like a border or put like a spacing or put like something, but whatever, just so we know that we're styling that content. Okay.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Red border. Oh, did I break it again?
I don't know because I never work with this, but it should.
Let me just check the. Where do we seeing the?
Might not give you a border. Let's style the H1 instead because it might not actually give you a.
Okay.
Just add H1 onto the end.
Oh no, not that.
No. You need Nux content then H1, and then we'll.
Oh, you still need the Nux content. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Right.
We want to style the H1 inside Nux content as opposed to every H1 in, that page.
Okay, I've got it scoped. I'm going to remove that just in case.
Yeah. So this would normally we'd do this in the main CSS file.
Okay.
Because like we want it because we're not in an actual, just in this page. We want that across. Do you know what I mean? Across the whole application, it's coming from somewhere else, right? So that should work because it's not scoped. But I would normally put all these in a content CSS file in my assets folder, which we could possibly do.
It's interesting how, everyone, I suppose, works differently. And I like to go with the recommendation, what the docs say. That's always my kind of safer option, I find. I know a lot of people do like to kind of customize a lot more as well.
So did that do anything for it?
No, that didn't, I don't think.
Right, well, let's put it in an actual CSS file. And then because you can see how to add a CSS file as well, which is kind of also helpful. So take that style.
Okay, it sounds good. Before we do that, I was just going to say, Sergey has written something that has definitely sparked my interest.
Hang on a minute. You put border 1 pixel on a H1.
That should still work. I should get a border on it.
I don't think you have a H1.
Oh, was it not a H1 at the top? Oh, it was a H1.
Yeah, but
But
not
it's
in content.
not in content. Yes, you did put in content. I was thinking of the whole page. You're right. So in content, we don't. These are H2s, I guess.
Exactly. So that might actually just help the situation if we're styling something that we actually have.
Yeah. Okay. I was just checking if you were paying attention. That's what it was. Okay.
Right.
Now that
There you
looks
go.
better. So if I
Now,
did border bottom to make it, look a bit better.
yeah, just to kind of,
There we go.
that's a little bit nicer. Okay, now, right there, this is what Sergey's trying to tell you to do. And I was trying to, hold it off, but, Sergey wants to go for it. So can you double click what the text there?
Any
Can you
text.
change it? Yeah, just double click it and change it.
No. Get out. No way. It's not going to save
Yeah.
it, is it, though? If I change it, what happens?
No, it's just like development mode. It doesn't save. It doesn't do anything. Just change some text.
Okay,
just write your name or something.
Okay, this is a live test. Okay. And now what do? Do I have to hit enter or hit out, click out of it?
Right.
Right.
So that's just in development mode, right? So that's not going to be in your view page, right? In your markdown page. It's not going to be there, right? Or do you want to have a look?
No, let's have a look. Let me
show everyone that it's not there, that it would there's no way that's going to like modify your.
It has modified it.
Wow. It's there.
Oh, you knew that was going to happen. You knew that was going to happen. That is epic. I have a question on that. Before we get to that, I got to read out some of these comments. Diraj, let me know about your great idea. We'll chat about it later on. And Stephen says would make a good slapstick comedy. Hey, this is me being serious. What are you talking about? Okay. I got so excited about double clicking and making changes, and then I got a bit disappointed when you said it's in dev mode, it's not going to change the file. And I've got all excited. This is a roller coaster of emotions because it has actually changed that file. Right. So
I'm teased, sorry.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure people watching do also as well. Right.
Do you have the terminal open actually? Can you show the terminal?
Yeah, I can show the terminal.
So so you can see there the last comment there is updated content hello.md.
Yeah.
Right at 5:42, which is like literally a minute ago.
Yes.
So if you made another change in the markdown file or in the live edit, whichever one you want, it's going to update that again.
Test 2, save. Okay, it has updated it again.
Update. And if you do the live one, yeah, you can see it now live, right? You've got it there, and then just double click to change that number. So this is how I'm editing our docs the whole time, because our docs are built using content. So I'm literally like just live editing, and it makes it so much easier.
Right, okay, so I've got a couple of questions. I can see people in the chat, Mikey agrees that it's really impressive. I am blown away. I was not expecting this. But I'm guessing I'm guessing someone's going to disappoint me a little bit, because it can't be this easy and this perfect. Nothing ever is, right? Okay, maybe I'm a bit cynical.
No, because you come from Angular, right? So you're expecting everything to be so difficult, right? But
no, Angular is so easy. That's why I love Angular, because everything just works. With a bit of config, it just works. Right. So let me ask my question. So is that editing just for dev mode, or could we somehow protect it for a certain user and still use that functionality in production for documentation?
So this is like, remember it's Git based, so it's living inside your code.
Oh,
so
that's
it's not
true.
like an external API.
Yes, that's true.
Now we do have a live preview mode for external APIs. So if you were to set up like Hasura or some other kind of, Strapi or some other backend API, you could like go in there, and then you could like open in like you could see it live in a production, right? Not in dev mode, in production. You could see the live changes to your API before you actually publish them. So you can do that with static sites, right? We're not going to go into that today because that would take too long to set up our API setup, but it's in there. It's in the documentation, the preview mode, and you can check up on that. And it's also written in the blog post on going full static. So if you're more interested in that, do check that out.
Awesome. Before I forget, with some of those links afterwards, can you put when the live stream finishes, Don't close the tab. Put a comment below, and I can, with some links and resources, I can pin it to the top of the comments.
Cool. No worries. Okay, so.
Wow, okay. So everyone watching, what are you thinking so far? What do you think of NuxtJS? Yeah, which parts do you like? Which parts don't you like? I think I like a lot of these. A lot of this. This is very impressive.
Well, I just want to make a point to you that
Okay.
I want you to know what you've actually just got on your page, because you've just got so excited and you actually really don't know what you've got, right?
That's true.
So, so like literally like there's a load of let's say dummy content in here. So let's kind of simplify it down to just have something basic so you can see what you're getting, because otherwise like users are looking at this and you don't know. So yeah, let's kind of like just remove all that. And now we can see we've got the empower paragraph, and then you've got the heading, the second heading, right?
Yes, yeah.
But like you can see at the top you've got a title, and that's your like H1, right? And if you want to use that, then why is that not there? Let's like if you were to like change that title, like where is it?
I'm guessing it's the page title. Oh no, it's not the page title.
No, it's not the page title. So how can you get the page title?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me.
Not a trick question. It's actually not a trick question.
It's always a trick question with you.
No, it's not. It's actually because it's not really very well explained. If you're like coming in and you're just like getting like you all excited and you've got everything, and then you kind of like forget that the YAML is there. Why is the YAML there? And you're thinking title, description, it's meta, that's it, and it's not. It can be, but it's meant to be more than that, because that title is your H1 and stuff, and you can add more things in there. So you could add like author details for your post, for example. Tags, exactly. You could add, remember it's YAML, so you're gonna have to like write it like YAML.
That will work though, right?
I don't think you can use brackets in YAML.
I used that in my GitHub Actions in YAML. It should work. If not, okay, I can do it.
I normally use, but anyway, like, I normally use that, but maybe you can use brackets, and I just always do it.
Like that's the thing, different styles.
Maybe you're going to teach me something here, right?
What do you mean, maybe? The cheek. You young kids nowadays, no respect for your elders. I don't know.
Sergey says it works, or it should work. He's kind of like doubting himself.
Okay, let's try it. Let's try it.
So let's try it, and everyone blames Sergey if it doesn't work. Sergey also mentioned there in the chat earlier that you could use the Tailwind Pros for styling instead of the Nux content. So that's another way of doing it. I was just showing you kind of a simple way. So yeah.
Okay.
Right. So we're really complicating life here. But anyway, I'm going to show you first how to get the title, and then we'll work on those tags.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, you're sewing into these So right. We need to now go back to our code to do this, right? Because we're not editing the actual file. We want to get the content on the page, right?
Yeah.
So what we've done, as you've seen here in our fetching, we're fetching the page, right? So we have everything. And like, if you wanted to see, you could console log that out. If you want to see what you're getting back, just kind of...
That's a good idea, actually.
You can also, let me see if I find the link for it, because it's even better. Okay, don't worry about that.
That's not it, okay.
No. So we're going to do it straight from the actual API to see what we're getting back. And I'm just looking for the link to it here, so you can. So if you open the anyway, I'll tell you the easy way, and then we'll go into this, right? Just so you can see it. So go up to the top under, say, about, for example, and like just create a pre tag, for example, and then type in page in handlebar syntax.
Double, like.
Yeah. Okay, and that shall print out, instead of using console log, that's going to print out on the page what you're getting back from that page that you're fetching, right? So did we break it again?
No errors this time. Let's check the console.
Okay, go back so I can see what's going on.
Let me just make a bit of space, therefore we can actually see something. Is it pre-code? I can't remember. I'm so used to. I'm so used to.
Did you save it? Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Return page. Okay. Anyway, let's just check. It should work. Check browser console. I know, like it should be there. If not, so you're getting some.
Console.
Why are you using Safari? Like, who uses that?
I don't normally use Safari. I don't know why I'm using it. It's because I wanted to give you a challenge because you were mean to me about it wouldn't edit the Markdown file. I knew you were going to trick me about something, so I thought, right, let's use Safari. Let's make it difficult for you.
Like, seriously. Anyway, like I don't know why that's product image page is not refer. Like, can you, like, seriously, can you not just open Chrome and make my life easier? Like, do people even use Safari?
Let's see what I can do. Let's see what I can do. Steven's written something in the chat. I don't know if you want to, well, I'm just bringing up Chrome. I don't know if you want to just check that.
Yeah, the issue is in index.vue.
It doesn't work in Chrome.
Like, seriously, I told you, like, Safari, don't use Safari if you're developing an application. It's not
I really don't know why I used it. Apologies to everyone watching. Everyone watching, don't hate me, please.
Safari is a great browser for browsing, yes.
Yes.
No, but the DevTools, I don't know why that doesn't work in Safari and does in Chrome, but I have never used Safari for web development. So I know it works in Chrome, so I'm going to do the live stream telling you to use Chrome. Everyone can use Safari if they want, and when it breaks, like, just
don't come crying. Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
So, this is what you're this is what you're getting, right? So this is what is in that page that you fetched, and you're getting the title, the description, the tags, which is what you got.
I'm going to rush ahead now. You carry on talking. I want to experimental driven development, right?
You figure it out. You know what to do now, do you?
I'm going to guess. I'm hoping I can go page dot, what was it? I don't know, title. Save. Oh, it's going to be really low down though. Let me see. What was the title? Get started now, I think.
Well, you can double click and edit it. You could see it live. You didn't have to go all the way there. You were right in the page, and you could have just clicked that.
Oh,
and
yes.
Right? But
there we go.
Exactly. You can't click on the title because that's coming from the YAML. You have to click on the actual content to then modify the YAML.
Got you. That makes sense. Okay. Get started now, not later. Awesome. Right? That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So what this also just shows you as well is little things like the path, the extension, the slug. So your slug is hello, the created at, the updated at, and you can kind of see, if you scroll up a little bit, how the table of contents works. So you can kind of see here like how it's giving you way too much, right? But it's like saying a tag is P, props children, the element, it's text, it's power, so it's giving you that's how it's breaking it out. And that's how later on, if you were going to create a table of contents, that's how it's able to do that automatically for you, because it's structuring that the way it's structuring the body, right? So that's kind awesome. Of like, it's cool. So there's another way of seeing that, which is, if I remember correctly, and this is going from the top of my head, we do need to make a floating button component for editing content. I like that idea, because people don't actually get it, and then they click and then they go, oh my god, what just happened, but you can actually open the you can see the actual, instead of having to print out a code with the page, you can actually see the API, right, if you need to. So you can do that, and it's in the content docs itself. So you'd actually just by doing I think it's _content / API. I think that's what you would do, if I remember correctly. No. In the no.
Oh, sorry.
No. Like, actually open the like page in Chrome. That.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, got you.
and just go _content / hello. Yes. Right. Okay, so if you have an extension in Chrome that's going to I
do, but I think because I'm in incognito mode, I don't think I have it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I thought I did. Maybe I don't.
So yeah, that would kind of like, make it nicer. So mine goes all really colorful and cool. So if you're like developing something a lot, with a lot of full on stuff going on there, then it's kind of easier to just like, debug and see what's coming from your JSON, from your YAML, from everything, from your Markdown. So this is like seriously live, right? He has no extension and now bang, now look at that. Look at that. In the space of seconds. And that's just cool, right? Because you don't have to like stick it on the page. You can see what's going on. You can kind of scroll down and you can kind of figure out, why you're not getting your title or what's in there, etc.
That's very nice. I do like that. Really thought of everything.
It's just kind of a hidden feature that, I think it's a little bit too hidden, in my opinion. I like to talk about it. So you want your tags on the page, right? Yeah, get rid of that pre, and you want to print out your tags.
Yes.
Right, let's do that.
So I want to loop. Oh, let me do that. Let's put it as a, I don't know. Let's do it as a list, maybe. I don't know. Just really simple for now.
So this is going to be interesting. Let's see if you can.
So this is probably the last thing we're going to do. I've taken up way too much of your time already. So the last thing we're going to do is see if we can. So this is tags, but this is obviously an array. So how can I loop over it? So
if you're a developer, you're new to Nux and you've just got to this stage, now you want to loop over things. What would you do here? What would you do right now besides asking me? Because not everyone has a Debbie that's live streaming with them, right? So
I would check the docs.
All right, where are you going to look? What are you going to look for?
I don't know, for each or for loop.
So basically, and this is why people say you should learn Vue before you learn Nuxt. Again, I'm kind of like saying you can still do it, but we do not cover Vue documentation in the Nux docs.
Got you. It makes sense.
Right? And that is Vue specific. So you do need to go to the Vue docs for anything that is Vue specific, like understanding the templates, understanding the script tags, understanding v4s, etc. So don't be afraid to jump between the Vue docs and the Nux docs for Vue specific things, right? In this case, it's a v4 that we use. So exactly. So that's the directive. But yeah, if you are starting with Nux and you've never done Vue, that's fine. But do remember that you will need to go to the Vue docs for those kind of things.
That's really good, though. I think it shows that you're focusing on what you do, which I think is important, rather than trying to recreate everything and reinvent the wheel. So that is really good.
Yeah, well, we're just using Vue, right? We're not like reinventing Vue. It's Vue, and that's why you need to, use Vue how Vue should be used by following the Vue docs, and then use Nux for docs for Nux specific stuff.
Makes sense. Okay, so page.tags is an array, and then I want to say item. Why does it not like that? Let me see. Element and iteration expect to have vbind key directive.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a your linter things, right? And actually they don't put it in the docs, but you just need to like put in what do you call it? Like to make sure that, say if you had two v4s in the page, you would have a problem because it wouldn't know which v4 is which and stuff. So you're basically in order to kind of like make sure that that item is, so you could use an ID, you can use the index, for example. So you can say item index and then bind it to the index. If you had an ID, you could bind it to the ID.
Okay.
So yeah, you can put the item in brackets.
Over here?
Yeah, and then put a comma and put the like I for index. No, comma.
Oh, inside.
No, inside. Yeah. Right, and then you can use the key. So at the end of this, so v4 at the end of v4.
Yeah.
At the end of v4 at the end, yeah. Then put a space and put like the two dots and key. Yeah, so click on key. You can see it's showing up there to help you. And then put I, so you're basically saying the key is I. This is just a really simple example. If you have two of those, you're going to put the same I, then you're going to get a warning saying, you've just put it in. So you shouldn't always use I. You could like use in this case, because it's like a tag, you could use the actual tag itself because it's like just one word. But if you were using a big description, it might get messy. So you could put item in there as well instead of having to go through the index, right? So this is me just showing you different ways of doing it. So you've got item, and we're using the index as the key, or you could actually just use the item as the key. Because in this case, it's a tag, right? But in some cases, it doesn't make sense, and you might want to put page and then like the index, and then it's going to like, you know, keep that basically. If that makes sense.
I have got to admit, this is one thing that has, I suppose, disappointed me, which isn't so bad, right? Everything else has been really awesome. But being so used to Angular, not having to do things like this, you could just do a simple loop without having to do, I guess, any assignment. I do like that, but I understand why it needs to be done. I guess the way the template, the way it's
you could not do it, and then you'll just like have linting errors. So if you don't care about, you know, that kind of stuff, you can still get away with it. It'll still work, and that's why in the docs it works. But you know, we're just doing things a little bit correctly. But yeah, so this is just the key. You can put the I, you can put item. That's up to you. So in this case, we can just leave that for now. That's fine. And you're going to save it, and it's going to give you an error because there's a spacing issue.
The spacing? Expected one line. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, just a quick fix. It's because you install Vueter and Vueter as well. It's kind of like, you know, shouting at you. The linter shouting at you. And if you had to put prettier on top of that, that would have been fun.
Okay, right? So I think we had viewer next. Let's just check. So if I put, so
I don't know why you put next besides view, but anyway.
Yeah, I meant to put Nux. What do I put next?
I don't know why you're editing there. You could edit live on the page, but anyway, you want to make your life difficult because you're used to Angular. I'm still
getting used to this. I was just about to do some Sass as well. No, I'm not going to do any Sass just now. So this would be, I don't know, ULLI border left.
Sergey's just typing in everything that like I've already told you. So I think me and Sergey are pretty much on par, because I think the like, you know, the YouTube goes out a little bit. So literally like he hears it as soon as I said it or something. It's kind of quite funny because I'm like, oh yeah, I said that right, because you know.
I'll have to catch up with the chat because I've been missing with the chat. So let me see.
Someone wants to give me 20 million something.
Million sounds good. So Deepak, thank you very much. That's awesome. Stephen's written some things as well. Service worker problem again. Okay, so they're talking about the service worker. Okay, I'll let them deal with that and see. It's probably just me. Okay, my Safari is a bit weird sometimes. I need to, you know, I don't reboot my iMac Pro that often, so I do guess even Twitter stops working on Safari sometimes, so it could just be me. And Stephen says,
well, there you go.
Nuxing, nexting, svelting, angularing, reacting. What are we going to vote for? No, I'm not getting into that discussion. But
I actually think it's a really good, like what we just did is a really good use case of like, you know, what to do in a real life situation, right? So if you've just got it, you can't figure out and you think you've done everything right, you follow the docs, open it in another browser, even if you don't want to use that browser, because you can just see what's going on. Something's going on. Is it your browser? Is it, you know, is it service worker? Is it etc.? And then you can kind of figure it out, right? But that's what I always do. You know, sometimes even Chrome doesn't work for me, right? And I go to Safari and I go, okay, Chrome is playing up. I need to kill Chrome. And then, you know, so yeah, do always like just jump between browsers to kind of like check those out.
And private browsing is suggested by Sergey, I think really helps as well. I know you don't get some of your tools helping, but that's the only thing. I know Chrome disables those plugins, which kind of sucks.
So we created a really cool application with some really terrible, really terrible,
just
basic
stuff.
But you can see like you could have styled that better with Tailwind easily. Like, you know, you could.
Oh, absolutely.
You could have done that nicer, and then you can add more things into the YAML, right? And you know, you can also add a component into the Markdown.
Oh, really?
Kind of like nice. Yeah. So say you had I don't know, some sort of really nice, cool button or something with props and stuff. You could add that in there and you could use them. So it's endless in the sense of like, you know, there's so much you can do. And like the NuxtJS docs are all written using content. So we've just been looking at the documentation of Nuxt. That's all using content. Every single page is using content.
It's impressive that you know eat your own dog food. I think that's really cool. I am going to just steal a button from. They have. I know they on there getting started. I'm pretty sure I saw a button somewhere. Where is it? Just so we can finish off. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I just want to finish off with like a nice button. I'm pretty sure they had examples somewhere. Components. Component. Oh, there we go. Second one down. Went straight past it. But they do have a.
That's the components that are like component. I think it's just button. I haven't. I think like it's not BTN or anything like that. That's a.
They do have. I know I've seen it somewhere in their documentation. I looked at it a while ago, and it was just an example. They had like components examples, like card examples, and so on. Just like 3 or 4 of them, and they were really, really useful. And I can't think where they are.
They've added more stuff to the documentation. Why don't you use the search?
I don't know. You keep coming up with these good ideas. I'm trying to do it the hard way.
It's in resources now.
Okay. Let's just get there. There we go. Here's some buttons. I'm pretty sure. They have added some more as well. Okay, let's do.
Yeah, they've added a lot of stuff. So it's just a matter of finding it. But that's why the search is there for when things get changed. You can find it.
Okay, here we go. So let me just make this button look a bit better. Oh, it's not a button. It's a. I can still use the same thing. It will still work. I'll just use it on the LI.
You can style it as a button, so it looks like a
exactly
kind of thing. Yeah.
Does it all want it on one line?
Yeah. He should be on a new line.
Oh, each one. Like so. Oh, and like so.
I have it set up to fix automatically, so that makes life easier. But we won't do that today.
There you go. Perfect. They're kind of massive buttons. But we know we're not here to show Tailwind, so it's okay.
So yeah, like
you
could obviously play around with that and do that. You can add button I9N Markdown. What? I don't get what that means.
In components, you can add button. Oh, I9N. That's for. Isn't that for localization? If I remember correctly.
No, that's I18N.
Oh yes, it is. I9 is that like the new Intel processor? Maybe like
I don't know. Maybe Sergey will kind of enlighten us to what that means. Right. I just want to I think we should finish by generating it because we've created a static site.
Oh, that's true. Let's generate it. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazingly beautiful, but we want to deploy that, right? You mean in Markdown?
You can add a button.
Yeah, like you can add the component. You could have taken that component and just put it in Markdown as a component and stuff, but
oh wow, okay, I have to look into that. That sounds pretty cool.
But he wanted to add styles to his beautiful tags.
I did. As you can see, they look epic. Got hovers as well.
Well, that's what Tailwind gives you, right? And it's quick and easy and simple.
Exactly. Okay, so shall we build it out?
Yes, build it out.
So I'm guessing, without reading the docs, I know our awesome docs, if I go to package, we can see we've got build. We want generate though, you said, so we need generate.
Yeah, so we don't need build, we just need generate because we're just generating because it's going to actually build everything for you. So once you call that npm run generate or yarn or npx, you're going to get Tailwind error things.
Just warnings, not errors yet. We're okay.
Yeah, I mean, people are probably going to go, oh my God, I'm freaking out, right? There's so much going on, right? But don't worry about all those NPM warnings. Well, after a while, you just ignore them. You just see so many of them. You're like, yeah, whatever, warning, yeah, okay, whatever. So you have to know which ones are important to read and which ones are not. So you can see down here, right? This is all your Webpack stuff. This is what Webpack is doing for you. And it's kind of you can see there, you got pages about.js. It's code splitted those pages, right, into chunks for you. So that's the code splitting, and you did nothing to get code splitting, right? And you've got it. So that's kind of cool. And then basically it's saying it's generating an output directory called dist, and it's generating the pages with the full static mode. It generated the root of index, which is just the slash. It generated the root of about, and then it has a client-side fallback, and it created for you of 200.html, right? So that's for if somebody went to an Eddy page or something and it didn't exist, right? So you can actually see that now in the dist folder. That should have been created for you.
Let's have a look. Let's minimize some of these. Dist, aha.
Yeah, so you can see in here that you've got an index.html file, which if you open that, you will see you've got stuff in there, right? You've got everything.
Loads of stuff.
loads of stuff in there, right? That's got everything that you added. Your about, I can see your about button there and your
Oh
documentation
yes,
button.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
the about page is actually an about folder, and inside that has got the index.html file, right? And that's got all your lovely, like if you were to search for the Nux tag, the Vue tag, you'll find those tags in there. How to add a component, yeah, you can see that.
There we go. VueJS.
Right, so you can see that, like, that's what you're getting. That's why it's like, going to be good for search engine optimization, because it's all there. Whereas in the single page application, you've got ID equals app and nothing there, right?
True.
So when you're generating your pages, you can always check your dist folder, see if that's working, and you can then like start your application and see it as well. But I want to show you something interesting that you might not have thought about. Can you open the Nuxt folder?
Let's do it.
So it's at the very, very top, it's .nuxt.
Yep.
Right, so this has got like a hell of a lot going on in here, and sometimes like, whoa, what's going on? But I want to just jump to the router.js file.
Router.js. Okay. Yep.
So I just want to show you that this is what's created for you. So if you've ever created your own router file, like you can see, like, there's a to-do comment there, removing Nux 3, right? So you can see like this is leaving our to-do codes live in the Nux core framework, right? This is what's going to be removed. Watch out for to-do comments to know what we're doing. So yeah, you can see like at the top there, you've got that import. If you're used to Webpack and you know what's going on there, you're importing the pages about.vue, the pages index.vue with the Webpack chunk name, so you can see that's kind of what's coming in there. So you can literally see what's going on, and you could debug it. Right now, you could edit that file, but remember that file. So there's your roots. So you could edit that, but that's a file that's going to be generated again and again, right? So if you save it, it's gone, right? So you shouldn't edit it, but it's good for debugging, because if you have a root that's not working, you want to see what's going on, why your root hasn't been created. You could go in there and see if it actually what's going on. So it's just good for debugging. I just wanted to point that out.
That's good. That's good to know that, absolutely. But you're right about the auto generate. And just a tip for people who are looking at Hacktoberfest, another really good thing to do is not just look for the Hacktoberfest label on GitHub, but also do look in projects that you might be interested in contributing to. Do look for the to-do tag in projects. It's such a great way to fix things. Obviously, this is quite a big fix, and it's not big. It's quite easy to do to remove it, but you need to do it in Nux 3, and someone's probably done that already. I've noticed in the past a lot of to-dos get left around, and some of them are quick fixes, but people forget about them. So for Hacktoberfest, if you want to, get on the radar of the maintainers and the community around those projects, just look for to-dos and try and improve those. I think the community and maintainers will love you for it.
Yeah, I would say not even that. I would say go to the documentation, and if you're reading something and you're kind of like looking at something and you go, that doesn't make sense, or, oh, that's missing, then, like our documentation is so easy to clone and like run in a local setting, and you can see everything just like we saw this. And it's those markdown files, and you can like click on them, edit them. You can fix something, just could be a typo, could be whatever. Make a pull request. So you're going to fork it. So fork the docs, make the pull request, and then just say, hey, I've, put a nice comment to say, hey, I changed this, so we can see what you've done. And that's really cool. And we also have like the translations. If anyone's out there in another language, and kind of like say, why is Nux not in my language? Then, let's help us get it in your language. And we actually have a project page in GitHub. Like if you click edit this page on GitHub, like you could just click there, right? And that's going to like bring you to the right place. So now we're going into that page, and you could just edit right there and then. So say you saw a small typo, it's as simple as like just editing something. I'm not going to accept it if you make it. So yeah, you can just edit that, right? And that will then like create that pull request, and then you can fix that. Or you could clone it, and then you see it in it, because sometimes that's a scary place, right? If you're first time contributing into open source, you kind of think, I'm going to break everything. It's kind of like their live preview, right? What we just did in the live preview, it's very similar, but it's also sometimes very easy to break in this way if you're kind of like messing with kind of code and stuff. So if you're not happy with that, if you're doing something big, clone it, while we have that open, you can go to projects.
In the file directory or?
No, at the very, very top, at the very, very top. So you can like have
Oh,
a look on,
sorry,
you
the
know,
actual projects tab. Yeah,
yeah. So I created these for like, that's a roadmap, the translations on the website.
nice.
So these kind of like break it down. If you want to do translations, you go to the translations one. If you want to go to the
I want
project,
to
you
look
go to
at
the project one.
translations. What languages are you doing? Russian in progress, Indonesian, Korean, Persian, Farsi. Wow. Okay, nice. What
Spanish is
else?
almost there. It's like, about to go live. Turkish, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Arabic we need help with.
Arabic. Sorry, my
Um,
Arabic is not very good. Don't tell my parents; they
I
would be very disappointed.
But yeah, like you could go in there and kind of say, oh, I'm going to help with some translations. And that is a great way of getting started. And like, if you can send it to us, we'll have someone review it for you and we'll make sure like, that it's not going to break and it's going to be okay. And we'll help you if like you kind of do something that you need guidance or just like in the actual issue. So if you open this Spanish one, for example, has a lot of work
Where is
being
this? Oh,
done.
there you go.
So you can see, so click at the very, very, yeah, perfect. Um, and you can see like how people, like, this is what I done out, what pages need to be done. So you could like, check and then just scroll all the way down, just so I
That's
give an example
awesome.
of people first time contributing to open source. You can see how people, hey, can I contribute? I have a question, blah, blah. You ask that question there, that will get answered. I might answer it. Someone else might answer it. So don't be afraid. Like if you're kind of, I want to help out, what do I do? Just like find an issue and like either tackle that issue or, say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, but I'm having this problem. Or if you're contributing to like the French, there's 2 or 3 guys who are doing the French right now. So that's only 3 people, it's a big thing. So maybe someone else who speaks French might say, hey, I'm going to do this page. And you comment, hey, I'm going to take on this page. And then someone else will go, oh, that's fantastic. So then you're not like, people know what you're doing. Um, and
You,
yeah, and then, sorry, go
I was going
ahead.
to say you didn't have Portuguese in there.
Portuguese was the first to be translated. It is the first documentation
It's
live of the guide.
wow, it was the first one to get done. Okay.
Incredible. One guy did it all. I was like really impressed and like incredible. Um, but yeah, in the other project, which is the actual website itself, or you can go to issues. So if you just click to
Oh
issues,
yeah, we got issues. I'm trigger happy.
yeah, I can see that, right? So you can see, and you can filter the labels and stuff. But there's like, for example, the documentations and stuff. You can kind of see, like, here's just translations, right? I need to create more help wanted stuff. Um, but this is just to give you an example of, say you wanted to say Azure deployment is outdated, right? Maybe you're deploying on Azure, and you could fix that for us, because otherwise I'm going to have to like create a deployment on Azure and figure out using Azure Portal, which I
Right.
don't do. So someone out there is using Azure Portal, has already come across that and fixed that issue, then help us with the documentation for that, because that would be cool. Um, Other things are, if you saw something that was missing in the documentation, then like just come along and create an issue. So you could actually just create an issue and say, like, I'm this is missing, for example, or I'd like to see this. So this guy, let me see, someone gave an
Oh,
issue that was
sorry.
missing an example with blog feature, right? So someone came along and said that that basically the blog post we created on content was missing, like how to use a sitemap module, right, and how to use NuxJS feed. Right now, obviously, like we don't all have the time to then create all these examples. So if someone else came along and went, "I've already written a blog post about it. Here's the link," and I was like, fantastic. So then I added it and added his blog post to our page,
That's
right?
awesome. So
So
it gets like, I think I like how you give back to the community. That's awesome.
yeah, so there's sitemap added, and that was the pull request to that one, and he's now created another blog post um, to cover the other one. So now I'm going to add his other blog post again to add
That's
the
awesome.
yeah. So that's kind of cool, and that's what I mean by, if it's not there, create an issue. Someone else might then tackle that issue. I might do it. Someone else, whatever. Or you can find something and like help us make things better. So it's open source. Everyone's welcome. Come on board, and yeah, and it's Oktoberfest. We haven't created a very good contribution guide, like we probably should, but like literally just reach out and say, hey, I want to do this, and yeah, come and just get involved and just contributing is so much fun.
That's awesome. And you're also running Cypress, I see, as well on GitHub Actions, which is very cool.
Yes, I set that up. It's so much fun. So no one should break my site because Cypress is checking everything.
That's awesome. I mean, I love Cypress and I love GitHub Actions, so it's cool. It's great to see you using that, and it's interesting to see that you've got your own build command, then people can run their start, and you can wait on to check that it's there before it runs a test. So that's awesome.
And like you're looking at the actual NuxJS org website, right? This is a example of using content at large scale, and it's got obviously internationalization in there. So if anyone wants a good example of how to use content, now don't like say, wow, the website's meant to be amazing, because obviously there's errors and stuff in there. It's not perfect, but it's a good example of using content in a large scale project, and feel free to like jump in and tackle it and kind of like look at it as an example for your future projects or whatever. Everything's open source.
And I was going to add, if people are looking through, we've already talked about getting involved in documentation translation, which I think is awesome, but also to add that if you go to the Insights tab on the top, and you go down third down on the left, the Community tab, you can see the community kind of checklist, and you can see some sections that are missing. So do raise some issues on this and start the conversation.
I didn't know about that. That's how I'm going to add it. Okay.
So if anyone wants some green squares for today, go raise an issue on the NuxtJS org site. And I see Nathan and Tijeres have just joined late, but they can get their green squares. Code of conduct needs to raise an issue, then someone can raise a PR. Contributing file, there might already be a contributing file in another repo, but so do check that. License.
Yeah.
Issue. I did see you have an issue template, so I'm surprised that's appearing that way. And then you didn't have a pull request template. So yes.
I actually don't think we even have the issue template, because we were using Nux community that was creating it for us, and then we moved away from that. So I think that's something that does need to be added, even though it's there, but I'm not sure it's actually
you're
there.
using the old version of the issue template, right? Okay, that's why. And it's empty anyway, so okay, so interesting.
Even help us with the guidelines of contribution, everything,
And I have one last question. I've taken up more than 2 hours of your time, so I really appreciate it. And everyone watching really appreciates it. Everyone say thank you in the chat if you're still awake. But also, just ask, how do you deploy this? How do you deploy this site? I noticed you didn't have a GitHub Actions for deployment.
Should we do it for fun? Shall we do it?
No, I was going to say, how do you deploy your site, your NuxtJS org? How do you...
Oh, how do I deploy NuxtJS? Is that a question in the chat?
No, question from me. No, because I didn't see a GitHub action for that. Are you just using GitHub Pages?
Using Netlify.
Oh, using Netlify. And how do you get it across to Netlify?
So it's in GitHub, and then we open Netlify and we connect GitHub to Netlify.
Oh, you do it that way rather than having an action that pushes to Netlify. You have Netlify that kind of reads from GitHub.
Yeah, Netlify does it all for us. That's really, really simple. If you were using Azure Static Web Apps, then there would be the GitHub. It would create that for you and stuff. But yeah, with Netlify, I mean, it's literally just...
I think I saw something in there, how do you spell it? I don't use it.
There should be a Netlify, there could be a Netlify TOML page in there, but I don't think there is, because I don't think we need any extra setup.
Got you, I see.
So
okay,
it doesn't,
fair enough.
You just always need it. So with Netlify is just does everything for you sometimes.
Okay,
but yeah, for our modules, we would have a Netlify TOML file that would then deploy a docs folder inside another folder, for example.
Okay, awesome. I haven't used Netlify, so I don't know. I don't know about it. So that was interesting. I was looking for an action to do something, but that makes sense. That's awesome. And you've got
it's done on push, literally on pull request. It literally just builds.
Awesome.
Building all day. It's literally just building our NuxtJS application all day long.
You got 30 pull requests open, so that's quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot of them are the Japanese team, so they've been working on something, but I cannot understand Japanese, so I'm actually not merging any of them until someone says, "Debbie, that's ready."
Got you.
That's why I label them all.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I think it's good that you've got them labeled, so it's easy to filter and easy to see them. I actually have a question about translation. So, say for example, I did the Arabic one, which I can't do, by the way, so unfortunately I can't. But say if I did, and I spent, I don't know, a week translating everything that you've got now. I don't know how long it's going to take, as an example. And then I get busy with something else, and your English version is moving ahead the following week, but Arabic isn't. How do you how do you plan to like deal with that? Will it just be the Arabic one is a bit out of date, or like as in, yeah, how
Yeah,
do you keep things
so
in sync? I find that really quite difficult.
there's like these like robots working at night, and they're crawling our pages all the time, and they're automatically like, fixing things. I'm only messing with you again, right?
I was like, is that a new feature on GitHub? I haven't seen that one.
So yeah, this is a problem, and it's the problem I haven't solved. We don't have the answer to. If anyone out
Okay.
there has the answer to this problem, then I would love to hear. I mean, we could maybe set up like a Google Translate or something
Like a
that comes
fallback.
along, and
Yeah.
yeah, but it's really difficult. And like I'm like literally like they're gonna release the Spanish docs possibly tomorrow. And I'm already working, as you can see a pull request in there. Like, and just to give you an example, you can open it up and have a look at it, right? Because you can see everything that I do, you can actually just watch all day, you can even see. And it's called feature the add examples book, right? So if you clicked on that, um you can like literally see this 49 page changes, right?
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff going on there, except for like the CSS tailwind stuff. Like if you scroll down a little bit more, you will see like there's a lot of text in there, right? So now you kind of go, oh my god, I've just translated this, and now Debbie's gone
Yes.
along and just like added all this cool features, which is all these examples, right? So this is the problem when it comes to translating, that sometimes you'll be on that amazing Spanish side, and sometimes it's not going to have everything because it's not going to be as up to date. Now sometimes someone will come along and see that pull request, and they'll go, oh, I'm gonna like translate that, which is what the Portuguese guy was doing. He was like watching and kind of like started like he's on the ball a lot, but like it's just one person, right? And he has a full-time job, and like you said, you might get busy. So this is why open source project is an ongoing contribution all the time. um that like, yeah, we always need help with, because you could just like check a page and see, oh, it's missing the examples. um I don't have the answer to it. I would love to say that every time I add something new to the documentation, something just like pings out like an alert saying that the English version has more stuff than the Spanish version. Help us translate it, or check out the English version for the new content or something. But we haven't figured out what the best solution to that is.
Okay. I think you're really far ahead of most people, so you're probably one of the first people to get there when you figure it out, and or someone in the community, notices something, good suggestion. So that's true. I have some ideas that I remember from back in the day, like 15 years ago, how we used to do translation. But it has a pro of keeping things in sync, but it has a con of just being quite complex. Like for example, I remember we used to have like okay, we didn't have JSON back then, but like a XML file, but you could do the same with JSON. And for each, I guess, section. So for example, if this was called example one, just for lack of a better example, you would then have English, French, Spanish, etc. And so when you change that line, you then have to contact other people to go and either add that new section or change that line to keep everything in sync. But
Yeah.
it's just be end up managing, ends up being like, then you would put placeholders in here to pull things out from config files, and it, although it has some positives, it also has a lot of negatives as well. So I don't think there's a
Yeah.
silver bullet for this. I don't think anyone's really come up with the ideal scenario.
No. Like what we do have is a fallback page. So if I was to add a new page, now not
Okay,
content to the page, but an actual new page, it will show in English, and then it will say, you're seeing the fallback page, help us translate it. So
got
you're not
you.
gonna like not get the content. But when I add content to a page, that's when it's not synced. That's when it's like the user's not gonna know. And we haven't figured out how to like, you know, I don't know, count the lines, because like the lines are different, the languages are different.
Of course, yes.
It's really difficult, right? Because
Yeah,
could be a small typo change in English that changes the whole thing for every other language, but that's never going to be
that,
picked up really on a.
yeah, that's a hard one. Okay, I'll have a think, and if I come up with any ideas, I'll let you know.
That'd be
That's
good. If anyone
definitely.
else out there does know anything, let us know. Yeah, for sure.
And we definitely had some positive feedback in the chat. Some people are going to try out NuxJS as well, so that's awesome. I think that's
Yeah,
really
and I'm
good.
going to add the examples book, because all the examples are in the guides, but they're hidden, so no one could
Okay,
find them. And I wasn't happy about that, which is why I added the text to explain what's in. Yeah, so if you go to like the guides, and let me just go to routing, for example. right? And you scroll down a little bit, and oh, there's an open code sandbox there, but you're not kind of like going to click it because you really don't even know what's in there. So I've like made that better by saying example, so you can click it from the navigation to go to the example, and it's going to tell you what you're going to get in there. So you're going to get an example of routing, and then you can open the code sandbox and you could clone it and you could play around with it and stuff. And then like I've put everything in a book as well. So we're going to have a book called examples with all the examples. So you can go to just one page and just go through each example. So here you can see we're
That's
using
pretty
the Nux
cool.
link component, and you could then just like copy that and use it in yours. And with Code Sandbox, of course, you can edit that one. You could um, clone it. You can do whatever you want. So kind of
That's
yeah.
really nice. That's really, really nice.
And like this is very basic, right? But when it goes into using modules and plugins and stuff, then it's kind of nice to get an example. And yeah, I found they were hard to find, so that's what we're working on. So it should be out soonish.
No, that sounds great. Well, would everyone keep an eye on this? Follow Debbie on Twitter so when she tweets out this awesome work she's doing, you can get up to date. Debbie, I've taken up so much of your time. I really want to say a massive thank you for coming on my YouTube channel, guiding me through this, and I think converting me to have a look at this now. I know what I'm doing this weekend is going to be definitely having a play with this. I love that, how it started with the CLI. Do you want Tailwind? Yes. Do you want the other tools around it? I think it was just so great to get started. I really, really like that. And yeah, seeing a lot of the heavy lifting that it can do, it seems like it's got the flexibility of a library, yet the kind of the power and strength from a framework. So this has actually got the best of both worlds. So I'm really interested in having a look more, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more discussion in Discord afterwards, because I know after the Svelte live stream, we continue for days talking about it, and so we'll definitely continue the conversation on this. So thank you very
Cool. Yeah. And,
much.
everyone out there listening who has questions, whatever, just reach out to us, create an issue, contact us, use the Discord channel. Like you said, it's great for Nuxt. If you can't find it, someone asked me, where's your Discord channel? In the footer, you'll find a link. So just scroll down in the footer, you got the Discord channel, and just go into there, join us. So many people can help you out in there. We have a massive community, really, really great community. So yeah, become like 11,000, 12,000 members. Like, come on, brilliant. Don't forget to start a project on GitHub as well. That's really
Yes.
cool. And yeah, Hacktoberfest is coming, so come and help out.
Yes, but don't do one thing. Do not private DM anyone, because if you have a question and you're asking a private DM, that person can't scale. And then that
Great
person
issue.
having the Q&A with you doesn't help anybody else in the community. If someone's asking that question, I bet you 10 other people are thinking that question. So exactly, start, raise an issue. I don't know if Nux has available you don't have discussions yet. So one thing we're using
No,
is
we haven't started using it yet.
it is
But
awesome. It is very awesome. Have you had a play with it yet?
I think we did it on one repo, but not on this one.
Okay.
Um,
So we've got discussions, and I just love it, because I feel that if Debbie's saying raise an issue. But the reason why I love having issues and discussions, I feel that issues are like action points. Do you actually want to start talking about an action point? So we do raise issues from our discussions, but in discussions we can kind of keep those separate, because then issues go on a project board and so forth. And I do like it how you can have threaded conversations, which I think is just okay, here's just one, but I think of a better example, but you can have threaded discussions as well, so people can give different
yeah,
answers
they've
and so
improved
on.
it like a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really, really awesome.
I think for now, most of the discussions are taking place in Discord when it comes to like questions and answers for people and stuff. And we did have the Nux community app, which we are moving away from, and that's where all our discussions were. So we will, I think
Okay.
we will be moving to discussions. That's the plan. But yeah,
Awesome. Right, I want to let Debbie. It's like an hour ahead in Spain, so you go and have some dinner, and I want to go and start cooking, I think. Thank you again
no worries.
so much for being here, everyone. Debbie's Twitter is in the description below, and do check back on the live stream probably tomorrow. I have some links from Debbie that I can maybe share. You can put in as a comment, and I can pin it, or I can put a comment in myself. Debbie, thank you again so much. My eyes and ears are definitely open and perked up, and I'm really keen to have a play with this. This is just, yeah, going to be absolutely epic. I'll just show
It's
everyone your
good to
Twitter
hear.
handle underneath your name as well. Thank you so much again. Debbie, hold on for
Everyone.
2 more minutes. I'm going to put the holding page up, stop the stream, and I'll just catch up with you if you've got a few minutes still left. If you need to go,
Here.
you go.
It's going to give
Awesome.
out to me now and tell me all I did wrong.
No, you were awesome. I did everything well. I was getting too excited. And I know my wife walked past the door and she was looking at me and she was like waving her finger at me like through the door. And I was like, oh, getting excited. I want to see what changed. Actually, what I was doing when I was pressing save and checking the browser, I knew nothing would change. I just wanted to see if there was maybe an error or something. That's what it was. I was just seeing, if anything would appear. That I wasn't getting too excited. That's my excuse. We'll see.
I actually love seeing how people react, like, naturally when you're showing them something, right? So I love like what we did. I think it's really, really important because it's like you're coming from the documentation. That's how someone's coming in as a user and like how you're going to feel. And then like, and it is true. Like there's so much to take in. I remember even the Nux content module, it took me, I don't know, 6 hours more even to dive so deep into it. So it's a lot to take in. And if you have someone showing you, it's so much easier. But I do love kind of like, what are your expectations? What do you think is going to happen? And then this happens and you're like, but how does that actually do that? Like, and it's really cool to kind of like see it. So yeah, that's fun.
I was definitely impressed. Definitely impressed. So someone who's a die-hard Angular person is very impressed. So yes, we have, as you can see in our, people can't see it, but in our organization, you can see we've got JavaScript and TypeScript, and as of a week ago, we have Svelte. Let's see if we can get NuxtJS in there as well. I'm sure we will.
Cool. Oh, that's the top languages. Okay. Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you again, Debbie.
Well, now you've got to create your website now in Nuxt.
I think I am because I love the server-side G, the not R. Generation, that's the word. Yes. I do really like that. And like you said, for SEO and all that sorts of stuff. So that sounds.
And for developers, really just creating content, it's just there in Git. It's just easy. It's there. You don't have to worry about setting up a CMS, going through Netlify to do that or somewhere else. It's just there. It's just like cool.
Exactly. And I'm actually thinking about blogging. I've started blogging again a few weeks ago, actually when I was in Spain. So I'm putting it on DevTO, but I am actually thinking of, I want to host it on GitHub myself. And I was thinking how to just create a repo where I dump everything in, but no, I can have it appear on my website with NuxtJS and the Markdown pages. And I think it's just
and then you can put it on DevTo with a canonical URL, and then you have it in both places.
I like your thinking. 2 thumbs up. I'm not going to be sleeping tonight now. I'm definitely playing with that.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you again. I want to bring the holding page up and we'll catch up in a minute. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch up with everyone again soon.
Okay. Bye.